Hey there, I'm Gadi Schwartz coming to you from LA, and we are starting tonight with a horrific breaking news story out of Germany. That's where a car drove into a crowd at a Christmas market, killing at least 2 people and hurting at least 60 others. We're going to check in with our Aaron McLaughlin for who is responsible. Meanwhile, here in the United States, it looks like the government isn't going to be forced into a shutdown after all. We're going to give you all the last-minute drama that went into the final deal when Julie Sirkin on Capitol Hill brings us up to speed in just a few minutes. And with the final weekend before Christmas upon us, you need all the energy you can get, but grabbing a peppermint mocha might not be in the cards.
Starbucks employees are going on strike today. A union representing more than 11,000 Starbucks employees in the U.S. says that they're going to strike starting today.
Now, workers at Starbucks in some cities are on strike. Why, where, and when it will end, those details are straight ahead. Those are just some of the stories we are following, and there is a lot more to unpack tonight, so let's dive right in. This is Stay Tuned Now. And tonight, we've got to start with that tragedy in Germany. Officials say a kid was killed along with at least one other person when a car sped straight into a Christmas market. Now, police are saying the number of dead could go up because of how severe a lot of those injuries are, and at least 60 other people have been hurt. They also say they arrested a doctor from Saudi Arabia as a suspect and say he acted alone. This all happened in a city in eastern Germany near Berlin. NBC's Aaron McLaughlin has more, and we do want to warn you, some of the images you're about to see could be disturbing.
Tonight, horror at a crowded Christmas market in Germany. A deadly attack just days before Christmas Eve, captured on chilling surveillance video. You see the moment around 7 p.m., a driver plows a car into the Magdeburg market, packed with holiday shoppers. The car barely slowing down, even as it turns the corner. Footage from the scene shows the driver surrounded by police and pinned to the ground. He has yet to be named, though police are describing him as a 50-year-old doctor from Saudi Arabia who came to Germany 18 years ago. The motive unclear, but police suspect the attack was deliberate. The perpetrator acted alone, and we don't believe there are other threats, Germany's state premier told reporters tonight. This footage shows the panic that immediately followed the attack. You hear the sound of a crying baby as bystanders scramble to save the dying and wounded. Authorities say among the dead, an adult and a small child. Dozens were injured, some seriously. Chilling echoes of 2 European terror attacks, both from 2016, including when a driver plowed a massive truck through a promenade in Nice, France, killing 86 people. The same year, another driver careened a truck into a Christmas market in Berlin, killing 12. Officials say both attacks were carried out by Islamic extremists. Both drivers were shot dead by authorities. And now, 8 years later, Germany on edge again after another holiday nightmare.
And Aaron joins us now from New York City. Aaron, unfortunately, this is going to be in the back of so many people's minds as they spend time in large crowds over the next week, like the one behind you there. What was security like before this car showed up?
Well, you know, Christmas markets in Germany and across Europe have been on heightened alert for some time, Gadi. That attack that happened back in 2016 had a chilling effect on the markets. I was actually in Berlin covering the aftermath of the 2016 attack. People there were absolutely terrified. It was remarkably similar to the attack we just saw unfold this evening, a truck barreling through a Christmas market. Unsuspecting people there doing their holiday shopping, enjoying the time before Christmas. Many of them had been killed. It was chilling, and as a result of that attack, they increased, realizing that these markets are a potential target. They've increased security. We are hearing from media reports that that was the case for this Christmas market, an hour and a half to the southwest of Berlin. They had increased security presence around the market itself, and that's one of the things that investigators are likely looking at right now as to how this driver managed to get through the barricades that had been put up to prevent just this sort of attack, Gadi.
Yeah, I remember your coverage from 2016. This is just, it feels like a horrible case of deja vu, and it's sad that we have to ask, but what are officials here in the United States doing to harden security?
Now, what We have heard from the NYPD tonight. They say they're increasing security resources, not just for Christmas markets across New York City like the one I'm at right now, but also for other high-profile locations. Chicago PD says that they're keeping an eye on their Christmas markets as well. They are noting that there have been no specific or credible threats made at locations in the United States at this time, but there have been threats made to markets overseas. Gadi.
Mary McLaughlin, stay safe these holidays, and thank you so much for your reporting. And over in Washington, surprise, surprise, the funding bill so many people thought was doomed is now fine. Literally, in the last 2 hours, lawmakers passing a funding bill on the House floor that would keep the government open until March 2025, which means that millions of people who work for the government, federal workers, soldiers, those people getting you through those TSA lines, all of them are going to be getting a paycheck through the holidays after all. So how did we go from everyone freaking out about Elon Musk's posts about killing a 1,500-page version of the bill and Trump torpedoing it to a pretty chill vote to avert the crisis? Let's bring in NBC's congressional correspondent Julie Sirkin to tell us how. Hey there, Julie, quite a save. Like, what is the big magic compromise tonight there?
Look, nothing happens with magic around here, but I will say that the sleigh fumes definitely sped things along because, look, members want to get home for the holiday break. This is not something they want to be doing or dealing with at the 11th hour. I will tell you, though, the reason this passed today and last night the thing was on life support is because Democrats actually got this bill over the finish line. Yesterday, only 2 Democrats voted for the version of the bill that had the debt limit suspension attached to it. That was an 11th hour ask by the president-elect. They rejected it. Johnson knew he didn't have the votes without them because 34 Republicans still voted against it today. So this passed 2/3 of the House, sending it to the Senate. Now the question is, when will the Senate take it up? But the vibes are positive, Gadi.
The vibes are positive. I love it. You got to admit, though, this thing went from 1,500 pages to a little more than 100. Were Trump and Musk on board with the final version?
They actually were, and House Speaker Mike Johnson said that he spoke to Elon Musk, that he spoke to the president-elect as well. Remember, when they hatched this plan, when they got an agreement behind closed doors, of course Johnson had to call Trump to make sure he was okay with it, because the last thing Johnson needs is a threat to his job from the person who's going to be in the White House. But you're right, this bill is significantly dwindled down, a tenth of the size of the original version, less than 200 pages. I also asked Speaker Johnson if he even wants this job next year after everything that he went through. Take a listen. Do you still want to be Speaker after this experience?
Look, being Speaker of the House is a challenge in this modern era, but it's a challenge that we accept. It's a great honor to serve in the position. I wouldn't say it's the most fun job in the world all the time, but it's an important one, a hugely consequential moment for the country. I got into politics because of my children. I'm concerned about their future, and I think that we're going to have a chance to begin to change all that in January.
Well, Julie, okay, hold on. Before you go on, for those that don't watch a lot of congressional, like the whole dynamics of trying to get the questions answered, we have to break down what just happened. You just asked him, like, does he even want this job? He's walking, he stops, and then he thinks about it, and then he turns around and full on addresses your question. I mean, do you buy everything that he said? Or can you read between the lines? Like, how did that go down there?
He clearly wanted to answer that question. I did try to ask him that question when he was speaking to the pool camera and we were all huddled around him. That would have been a better avenue instead of us tripping over everything. However, he clearly wanted to answer this question. This is something that I think his people are glad that I asked. It was an opportunity for him to say, look what I just did. I got through it. Elon Musk, Trump appear to be on board. Musk even posted on X saying that Speaker Johnson has a hard job, but he made it work. So he's safe for now, but that doesn't mean that House Republicans aren't angry with him, and we still have to see what happens on January 3rd when they take that vote on the House floor. One thing I didn't hear Johnson say was yes, that he wants the gavel next year. Maybe I'm reading into it.
Yeah. No, I heard the exact same thing. But I mean, kudos to you. Like, that was like your positioning, where you were, the camera move. Like, people don't appreciate how difficult getting straight answers is in Congress. And as you didn't get the yes, but like, we learned a lot from that little exchange there, Julie. Amazing. Back to the bill. I'm still trying to wrap my mind around Trump and the debt ceiling stuff. Like, don't we have a pretty horrible debt to GDP ratio? And isn't like the whole debt is out of control thing a major sticking point with Republicans? Like, has that changed here?
It hasn't. That's why you had 38 Republicans in the House vote against the bill with the debt limit suspension yesterday. Senate Republicans were freaking out about having to take this vote. I was talking to some of the deficit hawks, asking them how they're going to explain that one away when all they talk about is having to slash spending, slash the debt. Here's the thing. They didn't include it in this bill, but they had an agreement under the table where Republicans committed to lifting the debt ceiling and cutting spending by even more than they're going to lift the debt ceiling by. I know that's confusing, but essentially Republicans next year are going to try to make this happen. The reason Trump wanted it now is because he doesn't want to have anyone holding things over his head, including Democrats, and he wanted the debt ceiling suspended while Biden was still in the White House. And I got to give a quick shout out to my producer, Seda, because that wouldn't have happened with the question to Johnson if she wasn't there shooting it. So full team effort here in the Capitol.
Yeah, we can't wait to see your next report. Julie Sirkin reporting from Capitol Hill for us tonight. Hopefully it's an early night for you. Thank you, Julie. And now that government shutdown, it doesn't look like it's going to mess with your travel plans anymore. But what else do you need to take into consideration before you head home for the holidays? Well, obviously, the weather. That's going to be tricky for a lot of the country. All this snow is making for a nice winter wonderland, unless, of course, you are trying to travel through it. There's been more than 1,000 flight delays today across the country and counting. And right now, it is the Northeast getting the brunt of the rain and snow along the very busy I-95 corridor, which could mean more delays and more dangerously icy roads. NBC's Antonia Hilton has more on how busy this holiday travel season is going to get.
Hey, Gadi, the holiday travel crush starts right now, and experts say it goes through January 2nd. TSA is expected to screen about 40 million people through January 2nd, and AAA says just under 120 million Americans are going 50 or more miles away from home. And just in time for all of that movement, the weather is getting a little bit messy. So in the Northeast, up to 6 inches of snow. Already temperatures are dropping. There are very gusty winds, and this is going to include the Great Lakes, Mid-Atlantic regions as well. So if you are coming to the airport, expect to get here a bit early and potentially to be waiting for a while. Take a listen to some of the conversations we've had with travelers today.
Wanted to get home for the holidays, currently stationed abroad. So I just wanted to surprise my wife, the rest of the family.
At least 2 trips this past year I've landed without my luggage. My return is planned, but based on what I saw today, I think my connections might be a little tight. So I will pack differently coming back. I don't think I'll have the time or the luxury to reschedule what I've already booked.
The other thing complicating all of this, Gadi, is that Hanukkah and Christmas start on the very same day. So experts say you're going to see some travel crossover and additional volume in the skies or on the roads, no matter what you're planning to do for the holiday right now. So that's another thing you have to factor in if you're traveling with your family at the moment. If you're trying to avoid the crowds, some people say your best bet is to travel on Christmas Day. But know this, tonight is going to be one of the busiest nights. Tomorrow morning, Saturday morning is going to be incredibly busy. And then we're talking the 27th and the 30th. That's the Friday and the Monday before we get to New Year's. If you are heading to the airport on one of those days, they're warning that there are going to be some long lines and complications. Back to you, Gadi.
Antonia, thank you. And let's bring in NBC News meteorologist Bill Cairns. Bill, it is the weekend before Christmas. What do we need to watch out for here?
I mean, today better not be a sample of what we have to deal with, in the next couple of days, Gadi, because it's been a nightmare for people traveling the New York area, Boston, Philadelphia. This has not been a big snowstorm, just an inch or two, but because of the volume at the airport, it's been very, very problematic. 40-minute delays in Newark, 81 JFK, 30 at LaGuardia, 40 at Philly, ground stop in Boston. They've had on and off ground stops. It's 4 inches of snow on the ground. It's snowing hard, and this means that people on airplanes around the country are being held. They can't get to Logan. They can't even take off for Logan right now. That's what a ground stop means. So we could see another 1 to 2 inches additional this evening in Boston. Down East Maine's going to get snow, and then just scattered snow throughout the rest of western New York. Some of the higher elevations in New Jersey and Pennsylvania will get some snow too. And then this weekend, it actually quiets down. It's going to be chilly. It's going to be cold, but it's not going to be snowy. We're not going to have a lot of problems. We will see rain. We'll talk more about that in a second. That's going to give us some problems in the west. But by Sunday, we're talking wind chills in the single digits for even as far south as New York City. So that's going to get people's attention. But for getting those last-minute errands done, Gadi, much of the country is going to be looking good.
They're looking good. So procrastinators are rewarded this year. Great to know. Yes. Here out in the West, we are still traumatized by last season's atmospheric rivers, and now there's already starting to be a lot of talk about these two coming back to back. A lot of our roofs are not in great shape out here. So what's it looking like, Bill?
Yeah, so we'll go, the areas that don't have to worry is the areas that we just can't get rain. L.A. to Vegas, San Diego. None of this is heading your way. So you can, enjoy the sunshine, but I know you need the water, too. So the big one is going to be Christmas Eve. This is the one I have my eyes on here. This looks like very heavy rain. Temperatures are pretty warm, so the snow levels are going to be very high, but we may have some Christmas Eve flooding problems, especially in the northern half of California, southern Oregon. By the time we get to Christmas Day, that's kind of gone. As we head through this weekend, we kind of got two little atmospheric rivers, not a big one like it looks like on Christmas Eve. And you can see, we had the clouds and some showers today. This is the next one that's going to come in. And then the one behind this is the one that's going to come in by the time we get into Sunday. So here's how it looks for Saturday. The green shows you where the rain is. Notice kind of light rain around San Francisco, steadier rain in areas of Oregon and Washington State. And then by the time we get to Sunday, we kind of watch this next impulse coming in. And it's kind of the same deal. It's not like a huge event, but we will see some heavier rainfall totals in the northern California coast. Gadi, it does not look like significant flooding threat with these next two. But when we get to Christmas Eve, that one could be problematic. We'll fine-tune that next week for you, but keep that in mind if you have travel plans on Tuesday afternoon and evening, especially north of San Francisco.
We will keep that in mind. And also, shout out for that Christmas decoration on the weather forecast. That first slide, I don't know how much time you spent decorating that, but it looked very, very nice.
I would love to take credit, but we have some very, very talented weather producers here.
Well, happy holidays to all of them, Bill. Thank you. There it is. Amazon and Starbucks have kind of become, staples of the modern-day holiday season, but some of their workers have started walking off the job. Unions in 3 major cities authorized strikes just days before Christmas. Listen to this.
You are Amazon because of our
better work environment. That's one thing we've been asking for, and we don't feel like that's something we have to beg for.
2, 4, 6, 8. Starbucks come negotiate.
There's no reason. It is unconscionable that a multi-billion-dollar company cannot afford to take care of its workers.
Morgan Chesky joins us now. Morgan, multi-billion-dollar company. I mean, both of these companies are just absolute behemoths, right?
Massive, yeah.
And so many people are going to be like, okay, is this going to mess with my Starbucks order, or is this going to mess with my 2-day delivery? How many people are striking? How big of an impact is this going to have on operations?
Yeah, numbers say a whole lot here, Gadi. So let's start with Starbucks, because I was at a Burbank Starbucks location this morning that went on strike. It was dark inside. There was a small group of employees walking around front with those signs that we've all seen right now, pro-union, asking for more wages. In the case of Starbucks here, Gadi, according to the company and the people picketing as well, the impacted stores were relatively few. So you have this union that Starbucks formed in 2021. That impacts about 500 stores they represent. Okay. Nationally, there are 10,000 Starbucks stores that the company says are still company-owned and operated, and thereby not impacted by the union. The official quote from Starbucks today, Gadi, was that there was not a significant disruption to their operations, although we did see in 3 cities nationwide, Los Angeles, Seattle, and Chicago, members of their team out asking for more wages, better conditions, and this is all allegedly tied to failed negotiations back in February. To put it in perspective, one of the shift supervisors I spoke to today, Gadi, said a lot of people think this is just about coffee. He goes, this is our life. This is our livelihood. He goes, they proposed a 1.5%, maybe 2% raise. He goes, that isn't even keeping up with inflation. And how are we expected to keep up with rent and groceries on top of that?
And all this is coming like right before the holidays. I imagine, you know, is it because they want to maximize pressure here? And if that is the strategy, like, does that work with big corporations?
I think there's a couple different strategies at potential play here, and this is what makes it interesting. We can't speak to necessarily why the unions chose this specific time, but in the past, they know that this is a highly visible, economically charged time. All eyes are on holiday business spending. People are out and about. They're on vacation. Maybe they're taking time off work, and so it becomes something that everyone's aware of, so that's certainly part of it. There is a theory that's being floated out there, though, Gadi, and that is some of these unions may want to push for this now, some concessions now, before President-elect Trump goes into office, because in the past, he may have been perceived as anti-union, and so they want to see if they can actually reach something that's mutually beneficial out of the fear that he may use his office to negate that to some degree. A lot of that is still in the theoretical stages, but very much it only adds to the intrigue as these negotiations still ongoing for both Starbucks and Amazon here.
Yeah, a lot of things on the horizon. Morgan Chesky, thank you.
Thanks.
Don't go anywhere. We are just getting started. Up next, the party might be over for a store that's been our go-to for birthdays and celebrations. Details on the end of Party City. And later this hour, to grandmother's house we go for the holidays. But how do we get there? Well, we got a good look at how Google creates their maps and their traffic data, and that's coming up in tonight's Future of Everything. Hey, welcome back, and here are some of the other headlines we're watching tonight. America's 3 largest banks are being sued by federal regulators. Why? Well, they're claiming that the banks don't do enough to protect customers from fraud on Zelle. We're talking JP Morgan Chase, Wells Fargo, and Bank of America. The suit says Zelle users have lost over $870 million due to the bank's poor verification methods in allowing repeat offenders to make more accounts. A spokesperson for Zelle calls the suit misguided and politically motivated. And another potentially final round of student loan relief for debt. This time, the Biden administration is forgiving more than $4 billion for people who work in public service. That covers almost 55,000 borrowers. Now, the president has cleared nearly $180 billion of debt while he's been in office. And Texas death row inmate Robert Roberson was not allowed to testify again in front of state lawmakers. Remember, he is the person at the center of the shaken baby death case. The committee chair said Roberson was prevented from showing up thanks to a motion by the state's attorney general. His testimony is supposed to be about junk science. Roberson remains on death row after his execution was put on hold back in October. And it is apparently the end of an era, or rather, the party might be over. Party City is reportedly closing all of its stores. CNN says the CEO of the Party Supply Superstore told employees that they are, quote, winding down operations. A rep for the store hasn't responded to CNBC's request for comment. And a recall alert for all those mom and dads out there. Nuna Baby Essentials is recalling more than 600,000 of its Rava car seats. There's too much space around the harness adjuster button. That means the straps can't be cinched down enough. So to fix it, the company is offering a new seat pad and a cleaning kit for free. And in the small town of Delphi, Indiana, a moment that has been such a long time coming. The killer of 2 teenagers during a hike has just been sentenced to 130 years in prison, and the victims' families are finally able to speak freely after a judge in the case lifted a months-long gag order. Maggie Vespa has the latest tonight from Indiana. Maggie?
This is the result that so many Gadi had hoped for, and families inside that courthouse today specifically asked for. The judge handing now 52-year-old husband, father, local pharmacy tech turned convicted killer Richard Allen the maximum penalty, 130 years in prison for the 2017 slayings of 13-year-old Abby Williams and her 14-year-old best friend, Libby German. Judge Francis Gull inside that courtroom today telling Allen, quote, "You rank right up there with the most hideous cases I've ever presided over," then blasting him for rolling his eyes throughout the trial. She also today lifted a gag order, allowing the girls' families to share their anguish for the first time in court. Libby's mom saying she would be 22 and she should be here, adding so many what ifs. She doesn't get to fall in love and have a baby. Abby's grandfather comparing the pain to losing a limb that will never grow back, and then asking Allen, quote, will you ever own up to the choices you made that day? And then here's Libby's uncle leaving this courthouse earlier today.
It still ain't justice. Nothing is going to bring the girls back. So, I mean, this is a little closure. I mean, a step forward, we'll be able to sleep a little bit easier tonight.
So after the sentence was handed down and after this gag order was lifted in this case, allowing everyone involved to speak out effectively for the first time, there was an absolutely packed press conference about a half a mile from here, and prosecutors spoke at length about how strong they believe their case indeed was, and talked specifically about the girls, praising them for securing a key piece of evidence, those infamous cell phone recordings, a video and an audio recording on Libby's cell phone made the day the girls, investigators say, were murdered, in which you can hear Allen sort of guiding them off a walking trail, they say at gunpoint, just before he slit their throats. They also praised a civilian, a retired CPS worker, who they say tipped off investigators to statements Allen had made admitting that he had been at the scene the day of the murders. And that, they say, after 5 years with this case going unsolved, was a major break in the case. All of that in mind, I had this question for the lead prosecutor. What do you think got us here today?
Oh, gosh, I don't know what did it for the jury. I think it was a culmination of everything that we had. I think once you start stacking that evidence against him, and as it stacks up, it's hard to say that the defendant isn't Bridge Guy. And if you can accept that he's Bridge Guy, you can accept that he's the killer. And that, to me, is the bottom line.
Also in that press conference, law enforcement and investigators kind of venting at times about the online criticism and backlash they've faced from members of the public, alleging that they've covered up things in this case, that they've mishandled evidence, mishandled the case, all of them blasting that, saying that's not true. In fact, the superintendent of the Indiana State Police addressed this head on and got pretty heated, saying at one point, quote, any notion of a cover up, any notion of us deciding the outcome of this, any notion of any connection to anything else is not correct. So again, pretty decisive on that point. Amid all of this, Allen's team also saying they absolutely plan to appeal. They've said that in multiple motions, and they told us that directly today. They also maintain his innocence, arguing during the trial that there was no DNA tying Allen to the scene. So that expect that to be a key point in that appeal. If they do indeed move forward, it would have to be quickly. Indiana state law requires they file the initial paperwork on that within the next 30 days. So we'll see where that goes. Gadi.
Yeah, and we'll see if he rolls his eyes this time. Maggie, thank you. Coming up, why you might want to think twice about ordering oysters this weekend. Dozens of people getting sick after an LA food festival. The warning about raw seafood this holiday season. But first, you gotta feed them. Speaking of the ocean, our buddy St. Nick decided to head south before gearing up for his Christmas ride. There he is, scuba diving at the Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary off Key Largo, even bringing a little tree with him. Look at that tree. What can I say? Even Santa loves heading down below the H2. Oh. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back, and here's some of the stories happening out west that we're following right now. Here in LA, a woman is accused of trying to burn down a gym, and she has been arrested. Police say she was caught on video lighting a mattress on fire in front of the building and then walking away. Luckily, the fire was put out before it caused serious damage. And in New Mexico, Border Patrol agents found 37 undocumented migrants inside of a tractor trailer that was at a checkpoint along I-25. Now, the agents said they could hear people inside, and the migrants are from several countries and are now in custody. And a Portland, Oregon couple is being accused of robbing nearly a dozen businesses. We're talking a hotel, bars, even a deli. Police say they made off with nearly $9,000 over 3 weeks, and the pair has pleaded not guilty to over 50 charges. And if you're headed to an event that's supposed to highlight the 100 best restaurants in the city, you might expect this level of perfection.
That'll be your first oyster. You just slurp it down. Yeah.
Delicious, Tom, right? Yeah. Well, the LA Times Best 101 Restaurants event earlier this month, health officials say at least 80 people got sick with norovirus after, eating raw oysters. Santa Monica Seafood, one of the vendors for the event, tells NBC News they found no evidence of mishandling, but officials are still investigating. Now, the FDA is warning that a bigger outbreak linked to oysters and clams originally from British Columbia were shipped to the country is ongoing, and they have since been recalled. NBC News medical contributor Dr. Vin Gupta joins us now. Dr. Vin Gupta, thanks for being with us. That was a bad choice to show that clip because it is not funny to have norovirus. So let me just reset here. This is a nightmare. I've had norovirus before. Like, how quickly could something like this spread?
Gadi, good evening. I prescribe a glass of water for you. We should, something about norovirus is exactly that. It spreads quickly. Unfortunately, cruise ships, we often hear about the cruise ship nightmare where norovirus is in one of, say, in the buffet or in the raw salad. And it spreads quickly. And part of the reason is it sticks onto our hands, it sticks onto food, and it's hard to kill. And so that's why we're seeing this in oysters. It's not surprising. It can happen from time to time. The fact that it's spreading, especially from these distributors, is frankly unsurprising. But unfortunately, it does mean a lot of people get really sick.
The New York Times spoke to one guy who went and told him that all it took was like 2 little oysters to make him vomit at least 24 times. Raw food is always a gamble, right? A lot of people are going to be eating seafood for the holidays unless they see this. How can people know what they're eating is safe?
That's the thing. No one really can know. And so this is where restaurants that are receiving these the supply of oysters, Gadi, from the Pacific Northwest, from British Columbia, they are being informed that they need to throw these supplies away. Hopefully that's what's happening. But if you're going to a restaurant and you're enjoying oysters, my recommendation anywhere in the country right now is either opt for baked oysters, which can be delicious, lots of toppings, or just say no for right now if you can. Avoid raw oysters anywhere in the country. We just don't know the extent of this. And you can't tell based on appearance what might be contaminated versus what might actually be safe to eat.
Yeah, baked is always good. Dr. Vin Gupta, thank you so much for joining us. And turning now to a gun-clearing mistake that has cost hundreds of lives. Bullets still left in a chamber when the magazine is pulled out. And there is basic tech to stop it. But will the way guns are made change anytime soon? NBC's correspondent Maggie Vespa investigates.
When Hector Adames sent his nephew Joshua off to a friend's house near Chicago one afternoon in May 2001, he was confident the 8th grader would be safe. Instead, he never came home.
I wish we would have had a chance to see what he would have done.
Joshua's friend Billy was the son of a sheriff's deputy. According to court documents, Billy found his service weapon in a closet and was playing with it when Josh came over.
He removed the magazine to try to show him, he was under the false assumption that there wasn't a bullet chamber. And he pointed it to him, it went off. And then Joshua went down and he never got back up again.
Even with the magazine removed, a single bullet was still in the chamber. It hit Joshua in the stomach. He was just 13.
It never stops hurting. You just learn how to live with it.
How do you live with it?
It's like the whole stages of grieving. There's the whole shock and then the denial and then there's the anger.
An NBC News investigation found since 2000, at least 277 people, including Joshua, have been killed in accidents in which the shooter believed a gun was unloaded because the magazine was dislodged or removed. A century ago, gun makers designed a fix aimed at preventing such accidents, a small metal piece called a magazine disconnect. Typically, pulling a gun's trigger sets off a chain reaction connecting multiple internal parts, causing the weapon to fire. A disconnect prevents those parts from connecting when the magazine is ejected. That stops the gun from firing, whether a bullet is in the chamber or not. But disconnects are not widely used, in part thanks to pushback from the gun industry. Richard Pearson is the executive director of the Illinois State Rifle Association.
Basic firearm safety rules take care of everything. Magazine disconnects just makes things more complicated.
You told me you couldn't even find a gun in this facility that had a magazine disconnect.
No.
Pearson argues it's on owners to secure and use weapons properly and says a disconnect could be dangerous in cases of self-defense.
If your magazine falls out during a struggle, which often happens because the bad person is trying to grab your gun too, then we have a problem. And so you have one round left to defend your life, and it's gone.
He explained using a gun loaded with dummy ammo.
But if you get in a struggle and anything presses on this magazine, even though you don't want to, then the magazine will fall out simply by touching this release.
NBC News contacted more than a dozen handgun manufacturers. All but one did not respond, and none agreed to answer questions. Today, just one state, California, requires magazine disconnects in newly purchased guns, and that law is being challenged.
The country is very much divided about whether or not the response to firearms violence should be liberalizing people's ability to keep and bear arms and to carry those weapons in public, or whether or not we should have tighter restrictions on the design and sale of weapons.
Georgia State University College of Law professor Timothy Litton.
The difference between firearms and pretty much every other type of product in the United States is firearms and the firearms industry enjoy a federal immunity shield that other products don't.
When Joshua Adamus's family tried to sue the gun maker, the lawsuit was tossed out because of that shield. His friend Billy was convicted of involuntary manslaughter in juvenile court, and 23 years later, Hector is still fighting to prevent accidents like the one that killed his nephew.
We've lost our humanity if we put so much precedent in a weapon above humans. What message are we sending?
Maggie Vespa, NBC News.
Maggie Vespa, thank you. And still ahead, inside the operations that fueled Syria's now defeated dictator, regular factories turned into drug-making machines. Matt Bradley takes us inside next. Hey, welcome back. Let's take a quick look around the world. Russia launched ballistic missiles towards several parts of Ukraine today, and one person was killed in Kyiv, and at least a dozen others were hurt. Now, that strike targeted a bunch of embassies and even a historic cathedral. And the hunt for Malaysian Airlines Flight 370, it's not over. That country is now relaunching the search 10 years after the flight mysteriously disappeared. This was a huge deal back in the day, but the search stopped in 2018 because only bits and pieces of the debris were discovered. A U.S.-based marine robotics company is going to lead new efforts. And Australian breakdancer Reagan is pumping the brakes on a musical that was supposed to feature her name and viral Olympic routine. Now, the musical was called off hours before it was set to premiere, and her lawyers even threatening legal action. Reagan says the Olympics fiasco forced her to retire from the sport. And with Syria entering a new era, we are told American diplomats are now on the ground there for the first time since the fall of Bashar al-Assad's regime. Now, the State Department is in talks with rebel leaders in Damascus, agreeing to lift a $10 million bounty on the country's interim leader. The U.S. had called him a terrorist before all of this, and there are so many big questions right now as we look towards what's next, like if Iran or Russia are going to play into the rebuilding process there, or if terrorist groups are still going to operate in Syria. Just yesterday, the U.S. says they took out a top ISIS leader that was in the country, and the search for missing American Austin Tice is only intensifying, with the U.S. pinpointing even more prisons where he could be. Meanwhile, we are getting an inside look at the drug operation that helped keep Assad's regime running. Here's NBC's Matt Bradley.
Throughout Syria, celebrations for the fall of Assad and the pillars that once propped up his regime. Like this factory on the outskirts of Damascus.
It wasn't so long ago that this place was making potato chips, and then the old regime took it over and turned it into a factory for narcotics.
As Syria's economy collapsed during its nearly 14-year-long civil war, the Assad regime relied on drugs as a source of foreign currency.
This is Captagon. It's basically like methamphetamine. It would be just as much at home at a nightclub as on a battlefield.
Ahmed, a rebel field commander, told me this industry destroyed a whole generation just so Assad can earn as much money as possible.
Whoa. All right, so he's saying all of this is ready for export. This is Captagon. It's hidden inside this, fake box to basically transport what looks like wires. But it's all drugs, fueling the Assad regime's narco state.
During our visit, the original factory owner turned up. Like many Syrians, he's just returned from exile abroad.
So he says that now that he's back, he's planning on developing the factory again and turning it into what it did before, which was making chips and chocolates and snacks.
Hope for renewal, like so much else in this new Syria.
Wow, and a look at a narco state like we've never seen before. Matt Bradley, thank you for that reporting. And it has been more than 1,000 days since Russia invaded Ukraine. That conflict upending so many lives, even hundreds of miles away from the front lines. But what do everyday Russians think about what's happening? NBC chief international correspondent Keir Simmons is in Russia. He got rare access to show us what their life is like. And here's 3 of their stories.
More than 1,000 days of death and destruction, of drones, missiles and military offensives have devastated Ukraine and upended Russian society.
Right now, when I decided to come here today, I was actually scared for my life and for my future.
So you're more scared now than you were 2 years ago?
Yeah, much more.
The first time we spoke with this Moscow student in her 20s, in the first year of the war, she sat alongside 4 friends.
I want you to put up your hand if you believe anytime soon people will go into the streets in huge numbers to try and change things.
I remember that.
You remember it?
Yeah.
Nobody put their hand up?
Yeah. I still wouldn't.
You still wouldn't?
No. It's crazy how you can go to prison, you can be sent to prison.
In the 2 years since she spoke to us with that group of 5 students, some have left the country, some reluctant to talk again. We were sitting in this park.
Yeah.
You and 4 of your friends.
Yes.
And now it's just you left.
Yeah, unfortunately. I had to finish my degree, and now I'm also planning to leave the country.
You're planning to go too?
Yeah, I'm planning to go to Europe because I don't see any opportunities for me, and actually I'm scared that the borders soon will be closed.
When we spoke last time, I asked you guys about what you thought the future held. What do you think the future will be like now?
I believe it would be worse and worse.
In 3 years of conflict, traveling to Russia has become more perilous. Landing in Kazan in October was no exception. People with Western passports and some Russians are asked questions and politely asked to sit to one side and wait.
So they stopped me for about half an hour, which is basically normal when you come to Russia. It never gets easier or kind of comfortable. But here we are now in Kazan, which is a city that I've never been to. A long way from Moscow. Welcome to Russia.
A rare chance in this nation of 11 time zones to gauge opinion outside the capital. Ravilia proudly shows me around the city's most important mosque. Kazan is in Tatarstan, a semi-autonomous region of majority Muslim Tatars. Some descendants of Genghis Khan. But today's war in Ukraine feels a long way away.
And you call it? Pichmak.
Back at her restaurant, where she serves up local Tatar food and stories, she tells me they love Moscow's current czar.
Because people criticize President Putin.
Why?
Why?
Why? Почему?
You don't understand why?
Нет, не понимаю, потому что он хочет просто мира хочет.
They say that he started a war.
Ну, например,
This is what people say.
На Западе говорят, что...
Не, это неправда. Я про политику говорить не хочу.
I don't want to talk about politics.
Знаешь, Кир, я не хочу говорить про политику, да? Я его очень люблю.
I just love him very much.
Да, я его очень люблю, и мне кажется...
Then there is Islam, who we met outside his university, but who told us he'd like one day to study in America.
Maybe it will be Boston University, maybe it will be Tufts University, or maybe even Harvard.
When was this? Then, he tells us, his father was killed fighting for Russia in Ukraine. How did he die?
Bomb.
Grenade.
Grenades.
On his hip.
To the knee, to the leg, yes. And there was a lot of
A lot of blood.
A lot of blood, yes, yes.
A young man who expresses allegiance to Putin and admiration for America. Three voices of different ages in different regions of this vast country. A reminder that Russia, indeed our world, is more complex than it can seem.
It's quite normal.
This was a week in which President Putin held a question and answer session here in Moscow that lasted for 4.5 hours. A session in which he took questions from journalists and from Russians around the country, even from Russians on the front line with Ukraine. The message was that he listens, that he is somewhat democratic, that he is in tune with the needs and concerns of his people. What most Russians say about the war in Ukraine is that they would like it to be over, but that they don't want to give up on the important things that they think Russia has been fighting for. Whether that's going to be possible is a huge question. If negotiations take place next year, they will be challenging.
The complexities of our planet, a lot to think about. Thank you so much for that, Keir. Before we go, it is time for the future of everything. New news about an old mystery, the latest theory about what Stonehenge is really all about. Plus, finding the fastest route for your holiday road trip. We got an inside look at Google Maps at so important data that goes into your device and how they figure out that ETA. We're going to explain that coming up next. And welcome back. We are taking you for a ride inside Google Maps in just a moment. But first, here's some other science and tech headlines we're watching tonight. Another day, another Tesla recall you need to know about. This time it impacts more than 700,000 vehicles. That includes Cybertrucks, Model 3s, Model Ys. And the problem is the tire pressure monitoring system isn't always alerting drivers when the tire pressure is low. But with recalls affecting Teslas like this, all you have to do is update that software. And a possible new development in a very, very old story, like more than 4,000 years old. Archaeologists now think they might have solved the mystery of Stonehenge. Scientists at the University College London have a theory, and that theory is that it might have been used by Briton tribes to welcome other tribes from Germany and the Netherlands. In plain English, think of it as like a community-building DIY project. Of course, that is just a working theory, but still, pretty cool development. And whether you're plotting that holiday getaway or trying to dodge the Christmas Eve rush, you probably have a go-to app. Apple Maps, Waze, Google Maps. And if you're using Google Maps a lot, you might have noticed their tech is getting more and more accurate, with mapping tools getting smaller and smaller. And at the center of all of it, yes, artificial intelligence. We got an inside look.
At Google's workshop, the sound of tinkering with high-tech toys that have laid the groundwork for calculating your trip home for the holidays and that magical number of your ETA. But how does it all work?
Step one, you need to map everything. And we've all seen those cars with the contraptions on the top. This right here, this is the latest and greatest tech. All of those cameras, all of those sensors now fit on your back, which allows us to explore anywhere.
If Santa wanted to navigate the Empire State Building or warm up down in Miami Beach, that's now immersive. But for a more conventional commute, like the 405 in LA, Miriam Daniel, the head of Google Maps, explains.
How do you know how long it's going to take us to get somewhere when traffic's always changing?
It sounds really simple, but there's a lot of AI and computing magic that happens behind the scenes.
These days, that AI combines millions of miles of maps, aggregate GPS data pinging from the movement of cell phones, historical traffic data, and real-time feedback from users.
What are the worst times to travel for the holidays?
That's a good question. During the holiday season leading up to December 25th, the worst time to get on the road is between 1 and 4 p.m.
So rush hour is actually right in the middle of the afternoon.
Exactly. If you want to beat the traffic, try going after 6 p.m. Or if you're an early bird, try to get on the road before 10 a.m.
And if you want to be extra prepared for those complicated turns, you can animate the route.
We think of as a map, which is a 2D object, has now become like a video.
And look at this. We're at the final stretch of this route, and it actually shows you parking spots.
Whether that's a visit to your in-laws in Rudolph, Wisconsin, or your grandfolks in North Pole, Alaska, even in the snow, guided by a 9-camera open sleigh.
And finally tonight, a deep dive into holiday data, from favorite foods to movies to how much you should budget on gifts this year. Our data man, Brian Chung, closes us out at the big board. Hey there, Brian.
Well, hey there. Happy holidays to you and yours. I've got a number of fun stats for you on the holidays, starting off with how much people are expected to spend. $902 per person in spending expected from the National Retail Federation. That, by the way, will include food, gifts, decor as well. 54% of Americans say that they'll be gifting clothing or accessories. 44% say they'll be gifting gift cards. It's just a convenient thing to do. When it comes to the food items that people prefer, 56% of Americans say that turkey is among their favorite main dishes. This period does cover, by the way, Thanksgiving, so maybe that explains that. And then 58% of people say their beverage of choice would be hot chocolate. Who doesn't want to cozy up to some hot chocolate during this time of the season? Now, travel, obviously a big part of the story as well. 119.3 million people are expected to travel over 50 miles, according to AAA. A majority of those people will be traveling by car, 107 million. About 8 million people will be traveling by air. Make sure you give yourself enough time to get through the holiday crush at the airports. And then 4.5 million about will be traveling by other means. That would be rail, bus, or in some cases even by boat. A few other stats for you when it comes to just the fun entertainment that you could expect to do with your family during the holidays. 9.4 million households so far have watched National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. That, by the way, eclipses last year's most popular movie, which was Elf, a classic movie, of course. 2 billion streams for All I Want for Christmas Is You, from, of course, the Queen of Christmas, Mariah Carey. That, by the way, is the first holiday song to eclipse the 2 billion stream mark. So congrats to her. 14 teams will be playing on Christmas between the NFL and the NBA. And for the first time, there's going to be games on Netflix. NFL is going to have 2 games on that streaming platform. And then lastly, 648 kicks is how much a Rockette may do in a single day. Try to do that yourself without tearing something. I know I certainly won't give that a shot. And then lastly here, when it comes to the festivities, 92% of U.S. adults do plan to celebrate the winter holidays. Maybe the other 8% Festivus, we'll see. 80 feet, by the way, is the height of the U.S. Capitol Christmas tree, which came from Alaska. Had to travel 4,000 miles to get to the nation's capital. 4,000 pounds is the weight of the menorah for Hanukkah. Guinness World Records says that it's the largest one in the world. And that, by the way, is in Central Park, New York, if you want to go and check that out. And then lastly, 25 million pieces of confetti will fall on Times Square for New Year's Eve, which, of course, we'll be looking forward to in just a few days. Plenty of stuff going on. These are the numbers for your holidays. Back to you.
And I hope you bring those home to show your family, Brian Chung. Thank you so much. That's going to do it for us tonight. I'm Gadi Schwartz. Have the merriest of holidays, and we can't wait to see you again soon. So stay tuned now.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.